I think that, sort of what led to my evolution in this, one thing early on was that when I went to kind of a lousy country high school, but it was one where kids were in a sense empowered. I mean, we could, I was active in student government and in school newspaper, and it felt like I could have an impact on things. And I think that that is something that we sometimes neglect. It is important for kids to learn not only their algebra, but also that they can have an impact on things around them. And ultimately, I think maybe the reason why I ended up writing about these issues is because I saw them. And that goes back to the question about should people travel abroad. I started out at the New York Times writing about international economics and exchange rates. And trafficking issue, I wrote one article back in 1996 that I thought I was going to be about children who were being prostituted. And I never imagined I'd write again about that. But I went to Cambodia for that article and saw little girls who'd been kidnapped and were locked up in brothels being sold for their virginity. And I knew that they were going to be just like 19th century slavery, except they were going to be dead of AIDS by their 20s. And it is really hard, after spending an afternoon with these little girls, to then walk away and write again about the yen-dollar exchange rate. It haunts you. And likewise, Darfur, I thought I'd make one trip, and then I see these families that are trying desperately to keep their kids alive, and their kids are just like my kids, and you just can't walk away from that. And so I do think that, the travel opens up our minds, opens up our hearts. One of the reasons why we wrote about domestic poverty in this book was that when we were writing Half the Sky, Cheryl and I were gallivanting around the world looking at FGM in Somalia and maternal mortality in Malawi. And meanwhile, in Oregon, our next door neighbor and one of my daughter's best friends, her life was kind of falling apart. Her mom was in prison for attempted murder for a meth deal gone wrong. She was kicked out of school in the 6th grade for bringing alcohol to school. She began setting fires. And then beginning in, we didn't know it at the time, but it turned out that beginning in 7th grade, her mom's meth dealer was raping her almost every night. And this is a girl that my daughter grew up with and likes, and was so sweet to my daughter, and how, so it really, we felt kind of powerless, and we wanted to try to figure out how we can address these kinds of pathologies, what we can do. And it does seem to us that there are ways we can have an impact at the margin, not in every case. We're not going to, I don't really believe in the whole idea of silver bullets, but I do believe in silver buckshot. And there are lots of little things that we can do that will make a difference in real people's lives. Not in every case, but enough to truly make a difference.